Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Divorced Woman's Guide podcast. How are you guys doing today? I am your host, Wendy Sterling, your Divorced Woman's Guide. And today I am going to be taking you on a journey. And it's going to be a journey around how it is that you can move on from your divorce through the lens of power and joy and forgiveness. And today's episode was actually inspired by something that I saw recently. And I am sure that many of you guys saw this as well. But I saw that there was a message pertaining to an event that was intended to support women like you who are listening to this podcast going through divorce. And I know a lot of you guys know that I've done summits before, I've done live events, and have invited many of my colleagues to participate. And the reason that I do that is because, number one, I know that I am not everybody's cup of tea. And number two, I know I don't know everything. And so I always like to bring in other experts to support the theme of the summit and also to give you guys a different lens, perhaps, than what you're accustomed to hearing us talk about. And what is always important to me when I do these summits is to ensure that the information that you receive is valuable and that it's going to help you navigate wherever it is that you are around a specific topic. I know that we all go through that roller coaster of emotions. And at one point in time, I definitely was in a place where I was still very much in my pain. And a lot of the content that I had been putting out there and had been creating was really about getting you out of that pain, but doing so by really diving in. And I still firmly believe that there are ways in which that is extremely valuable. And depending upon where you're at in your journey, that is something that you've got to go through the pain. You got to dive headfirst to get to the other side. However, rather than continuing to focus on that pain or thinking that there are winners or losers in divorce, the lens that I have come out on the other side of is the lens of love, the lens of light. And the more that I focused on the light instead of the dark of divorce, I was able to fully come to a place where I was healing not just my heart, but my mind and my spirit, my soul, because we're all on this journey and our journey looks different. However, what I know to be true, what I know the differentiator is in this recovery process is when you are being guided by the light instead of allowing the dark to fuel your recovery process. And a lot of what is out there fuels the dark. It is easy to get sucked back in. I see it all over the place. And it is not something that I consciously choose to engage in or to be a part of moving forward. What I know works is when you stay connected to the light. That is what I believe, and my clients tell me I'm really good at, is really helping them stay focused on the light instead of drowning in their pain and in their darkness. And at the end of the day, how do you do that, right? People always ask me, how do you stay in that place? And what I know to be true is that when you surrender to the power of the universe and you allow yourself to be led intuitively and to trust and surrender to what the universe is handing you, because at the end of the day, it's happening for a reason. There is a lesson for you to learn. What that means ultimately is that it is a part of your journey. It is a part of your experience here on this earth. And there is a gift to be received and one that you get to give to the world, give to those in your life on the other side. And the only way that it is possible to do that is when you heal your heart, and you heal your heart through the lens of love. And it is not about putting polarity on anything that happens in this world, right? Good or bad, right or wrong, those are polarities. and instead looking at it from the lens of neutrality. It just is. Okay. It just is. There isn't a need for polarity. That is something society has trained us to do. But what I know for sure is that when you look through the lens of neutrality, it really allows you to heal so much more quickly. When you allow yourself to see good or bad, win or lose, you're choosing to stay in your ego. You're choosing to let your mind guide you. And don't get me wrong, it's required to have darkness in order to see the light, right? How else would you know what light looks like? But what I know to be true is that when you focus on the light, your heart just, it opens up and it starts to expand. And what my divorce ultimately taught me was, yeah, it was really painful. And yeah, it was not seen. I felt like I got hit by a massive truck or multiple trucks when I was going through it. But ultimately, what catapulted me through to the other side ultimately was forgiveness. And I know I've been talking a lot about this on my podcast and a lot of my messaging, and I'm doing it because it is the hardest part of this process. And what forgiveness has taught me, what it helped me with, was to truly lean into my heart fully, with full surrender and full trust. And it's something that I continue to do. It is something that I continue to strive to be an expert at, because as we are growing and as we are learning, we are continuing to transform. We are continuing to evolve, or as I call it, we up level as we are moving on our human journeys here as soul beings. And your divorce gets to be that, really, it's that mechanism that shifts the alchemy within you to start shifting back into your heart. And that is ultimately where the forgiveness frequency lives. It is what is going to drastically impact your recovery process. So much so that I am completely redoing my programs so that frequency, that thread, is woven throughout the content that I am going to be teaching and that I am going to be coaching around moving forward. Because until you're able to learn my 7-step forgive process, you're not going to be able to get yourself through to the other side where you're not continuing to look back. And if I know anything for certain, it's that you are tired of looking in your rearview mirror and that you just want to keep focusing on your future. And the way that you're going to be able to do that successfully and with long term and having absolutely no trigger or charge around your past is through that lens of forgiveness, which ultimately is the new alchemy of your heart. It is your new heart center. So I hope that you guys enjoyed a little bit of my perspective around what moving on from divorce gets to look like for you, and ultimately what the differentiator is in your journey. And more importantly, there are no winners or losers in divorce. There are just opportunities for you to focus on yourself and focus on your kids, and to make sure that you are creating the best life possible for you, and one that is rooted from your genuine, true heart. Thank you guys for tuning into this week's episode. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Leave me a 5-star review. It always helps to get my podcast out there for more people to see. And come join my program if you guys are interested and want to learn more about it. It's called the Inner Circle Program. You can find more about it on my website, wendysterling.net. And I'll also be talking about it in my Facebook group, The Divorce Rehab with Wendy. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. Sending you so much love, light, and joy as always. Mwah. Bye, everybody.